There's no license presented at all. There's no contract.
They're charging you with driving a car without a license. That's a charge.
There's no license at all for there to be charged.
I'm sorry?
There's no license. There's no contract with the state.
The state requires everyone who drives a car to have a license.
I still have a right to travel. That's why.
Sorry?
I still have a right to travel. A common law right to travel.
You have a what?
A common law right to travel. It's a birthright.
Common law right to do what?
A common law right to travel. You need a driver's license to do business.
No, you need a driver's license to drive a vehicle in the state of Maryland.
Yeah, that's a vehicle. A vehicle is used for commercial purposes.
Doesn't matter what purpose it's used for.
Yeah, for the record, I was traveling.
Sir,
Mhm.
if you're gonna drive a car, truck, commercial or private in the state of Maryland, you're required to have a state license or an out-of-state license.
I have every evidence right here that just says that I don't need, that a man doesn't need, a living man doesn't need a license. You only need a license to do business. For that place, for that time, I'm not engaging in any commercial activity as in making a profit.
I don't know where you're getting your law from.
Yeah, it's right here in the Constitution.
What's it say?
Every man has a right to travel.
That's right.
Yeah.
On foot.
Air, sea,
Now,
automobile.
once you go into another entity,
Mhm.
like a plane
Mhm.
or a vehicle, you're required to have a license to do that. Or buy a ticket for a plane.
Yeah, if you're engaging in a business activity, which I'm not.
No, any activity.
So, I mean, here it is. It's right
I
here.
think you're picking the wrong judge if you're gonna argue what you think you're gonna argue. You may wanna listen to your friend. Now, the state's willing to offer you a plea of guilty to driving without a license. And they'll drop the other two charges. You may wanna consider taking it.
All right. Can I get a 5-minute recess? A request for 5-minute recess?
Your friend can talk to you.
Yeah, they can come up and.
All rise, please.
You guys made any decisions?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen here? What are you doing?
I'm waiting for.
Once the officer gets here, the offer is no longer on the table, just so you know, okay?
What do you mean he's not on the table?
I'm not giving you the offer of one citation, it'll be all three of them. Okay?
All right. I was just waiting to face the accuser. That's all.
You have that right, so I'm not giving you a plea bargain anymore once the officer gets here.
All right. We're just gonna decide if it's a criminal or civil contempt.
You're here for traffic court.
Is it a civil action or criminal action?
It's traffic.
You didn't answer the question,
You can
ma'am.
go to jail for it.
Ma'am, you didn't answer the question.
It's traffic, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's not a
but
criminal case, it's not a civil case, it's a traffic case.
and who does that apply to?
You,
Do you know who I am?
applies to everybody.
To who? Every
All
person?
people.
Every U.S. citizen?
No, everyone who's not a U.S. citizen, anyone who's in this country. Laws apply to them.
Country. What about people with diplomatic immunity?
Well, you start concerning.
You ever heard of a Moorish American?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard of Moorish American?
Americans, more sovereign about.
I'm not gonna argue this with you, okay?
Thank you.
We'll wait till the judge comes out and let me
Thank you, man. Thank you. Whisper.
We play games with like other kids around the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm too old for this.
Gentlemen, step back, please.
Huh?
All right.
Okay, stand up, gentlemen.
We're back on the record in the case of State versus Ohad Chesney.
It's my understanding, the defendant has informed me that he would now like to take the plea for the driving without a license when I dismiss the other 2 citations.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So the charge brought forth by the state is under 16101A of the Transportation Article. It's driving or attempting to drive a motor vehicle on a highway or road without a required license and or authorization. The maximum sentence, if convicted, for 60 days in jail and or a $500 fine. By pleading guilty to this charge, you give up your right, certain constitutional rights. That would be the right to have a trial here before this court, the right of confrontation, that is to cross-examine the state's witnesses, including but not limited to the state's witnesses. You are also giving up your right to add witnesses to the trial, witnesses that were there at the time. You would not be allowed to call them as a result of a guilty. I will hear from the state then.
Your Honor, it was on March 2nd of 2010, approximately 12:08 p.m. Officer Barnes was on routine patrol. He was running stationary radar. A vehicle entered the influence of the radar at 49 miles per hour in a 39 per hour zone. The officer was wearing a reflective vest and stepped out into the road to flag the vehicle over. The vehicle pulled to the curb. Defendant ordered the driver to roll down the window. At that point, he rolled down the window approximately 2 inches, but no further. The officer attempted to make contact with him about the speeding infraction. The defendant stated that the officer had, quote, no contract with me, end quote, no business with the police, and that he had a right to travel. He continued this odd behavior, wouldn't open the window. Furthermore, disobeying the orders of the police officer. The police officer simply trying to identify the defendant. The situation escalated, and due to the defendant's odd behavior and seemingly the officer unsure of what was going to happen, ultimately had to pull his service weapon to get the defendant to cooperate. Was ultimately able to identify him as Ikenna Victor Ohashi. Ohashi, I'm not sure how you say it.
Ohashi, sir.
Defendant was driving without a license on that day, and did fail to obey the lawful orders of a police officer. He currently has a suspended status through Maryland. All events occurred in Baltimore County. Witnesses called to testify. They would identify the defendant driver as Ikenna Ohashi.
Sir, do you wish to add or subtract anything from the prosecutor's statement?
Yeah, there's no license.
Pardon?
There's no license.
You have
Chain gun, tear that ass, tear that like Fable. Upgrade my gear to grid I can echo. Only wanna pearl off, oh yeah, they know. I got my own swag, I got my own tag. That's why I stay stuntin', but I do not brag. Call me a new breed, I am my outcast. You can't fuck with me, I'm just too fast. Greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive. Nigga, that's me. Greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive. I-K-E. Greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive. Getting the mass cheeks. Greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive, greatest nigga alive. I-K-E.